Between assignments and assessments, we collect plenty of student data. What is the most effective way to use data in focusing instructional improvement?
The data is only as good as the tool and the collection. So we have to be super careful with what we're saying data are. So if we're looking at data, we can start to organize and say, perhaps this group of kids needs this kind of instruction. But we should watch their response to that, because we get a lot of false positives on some of these tools that we have. So let's be careful with the data. Let's use it to think about what students might need in terms of instruction. Let's organize and then watch their response. Is it working? Is what I hypothesized actually what they need?
My next driving question for data is, did it work? I did the very best I know how to do. I was using good tools. I was using strategies. These kids all got it. This one didn't. I need to bravely ask that question, did my instruction work? And then bravely and conscientiously figure out what to do differently for this student.
This has become this notion of using your data, especially principals are under pressure for this one. When it comes to something like reading comprehension, I think a lot of teachers, a lot of principals are looking for, can we match this up with our standards? Could we go into our standardized test and figure out that, you know, Johnny knows standard 3 but can't do standard 6? And the fact is, you can't do that. You can find out things like Johnny could read well with comprehension materials that were written at certain Lexile levels or 4th grade level, but they can't handle 5th grade stuff. You can find that kind of thing out. And so I would certainly suggest that you try to find out those types of things, and then you adjust in certain ways, you know, to make sure that kids are getting the support and the help they need. But again, I think this is one of those things where, you know, I've noticed that he had trouble with a main idea question, and so now we're going to teach main idea like crazy. And you can't possibly do that. It's not valid. You get misinformation.
And so I think using all pieces of information, watching them with their peers, looking at their work, talking with them in small groups, listening to them read. It's amazing how many teachers, especially after grade 4 and up, don't listen to the students read. We don't listen to the language struggles, and so therefore we don't catch it until they've failed it on a reading assessment.
What I would say to teachers is make sure you're always looking at data in comparison with another teacher. So start with a question, right? Something you're curious about in your own data. So why are my students performing so poorly on determining the meaning of vocabulary words in context? And then see if the teacher next door is also struggling with that. Are their students struggling with that? And if you both are, why might that be? Or if she's not, ask her what strategies is she using to have success with this skill, and then take that strategy on. So I think data is always best when teachers are working together to figure out what their students need.